Are buying the new it bags out of fashion? I found myself asking this question recently because the new bags that are currently out and trending just are not grabbing my attention as much as they used to. And I'm wondering if we think that that's because of the new trend of minimalism, if that's the new trend of quiet luxury, is the reason maybe we're not attracted to so many of these bags that are new and maybe not some of the classic styles from the brand. Is this idea of buying a handbag that's been popularized maybe not as appealing to us as it used to be? Either way, welcome back to my channel, The You in Fashion. My name's Megan. In this channel we discuss fashion, luxury, handbags, and lifestyle. If you're interested in any of those topics, please like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notifications bell down below so you don't miss any of my content. My goal with this channel is to hopefully help you find the you in fashion. So let's go ahead and get started. As I said, I'm not sure if this is more of that trying to slim down our collections recently, but what I was noticing when it came for me, the reason I didn't buy maybe some of these it bags or some of these trending or more popularized bags over the past years is because price maybe didn't match what the handbag would be used for, in my opinion. So what I want to do is go through some of these handbags that I've noticed over the past years have been really popular, some reasons I didn't purchase them, and get you all's opinion hopefully down in the comments below on how you feel about some of these handbags. Also, I did finally sell my multi pochette. I did a video on that. I will link that here on why I was thinking about selling my multi pochette. So I'll talk about that more towards the end. If you guys want to hear more about that, I will get to that towards the end of the video, but let's go ahead and get started with these bags. So what I wanted to do was look at Fashionphile's last call. Last call for Fashionphile basically is their bags that have been on there for 3+ months and have not been purchased. So I wanted to see what were some of the bags on there, and I was shocked to see that a lot of the bags on their last call were some of the popular bags over the past years that we just had to have. We couldn't go anywhere on social media or even out without seeing some of these bags. So I thought that was really interesting, and I wanted to talk about that more today. So let's start first with the Bottega Veneta pouch. This was all the rage. You could not go anywhere without seeing the pouch bag as being super popular. And here are my reasons why I never really jumped on that trend, and I would love to get you all's opinion. I know people that have it love it, but it is a pouch, so you could really only carry it from the top or underneath the arm there. And for me, I just found that that wasn't practical. And again, we're talking about price. So the larger pouch bags are going to retail for $3,300. And this was very hard for me to justify for something that didn't have a top handle to it, didn't have a crossbody to it. I could literally only carry it as a pouch bag. It was hard for me to justify that price point and wanting to purchase it for something that to me was not functional enough. Now, I love the idea of a pouch or something that you tuck underneath the arm for going out bag, but then I would maybe be more attracted to their smaller size one and maybe a little bit of sparkle. But for a everyday bag or a neutral bag in the pouch, I was just never really attracted to that, and I knew that I probably wouldn't get the wear out of the handbag that I would have needed to justify that $3,300 price. And there were a few bags in that price point when I was earlier in my handbag journey I was more interested in purchasing than the pouch bag. So that's my thoughts on the Bottega Veneta pouch bag, the first handbag that I'm glad I did not jump on the trend train of purchasing a handbag, and I would love to get you all's opinion on this one as well. Second one is the Fendi Peekaboo bag. This one was another one that was really popularized, I feel like, over the course of years. I really think of Fendi more as a casual brand, and I think that that's why the Peekaboo never really made sense to me when it came to purchasing a Fendi handbag. I really like the Fendi Zucca print, and that for me, when I was looking to purchase my Fendi bag, I really wanted one in the Zucca print. They have so many other handbags, I feel like, on the luxury handbag market currently that fit that very classic neutral style, and I think that's why I never really felt the need particularly to go to Fendi for that. I do think that Peekaboos are actually really nice. I love that you can top handle them. I love that you can crossbody them. You guys know I'm big on being able to use my handbags multiple different ways, and I think that the Peekaboo does that very nicely. However, as I was saying, for instance, like the Louis Vuitton Capucines or even the Hermes Kelly were definitely more on my radar when it came to a similar structured bag as the Peekaboo. But I think if you you are a Fendi lover, you really want something from Fendi that is going to be more of that everyday bag, or the bag that is a little bit more minimalistic or a little bit more quiet luxury from Fendi, I think that the Peekaboo is a really great option in that case. I wanted to put this in here. This is not bags that I do not see value in, or if you love them, these are just ones that from my collection that I have, I personally didn't feel like I needed, or I had other handbags that I was more interested in. So I would love to know what you guys think about the Fendi Peekaboo. Do you think that it rivals the Vuitton Capucines, or you think that the Peekaboo kind of stands in its own category? One thing that I have to bring up here as well is pricing. So the Peekaboo that I was looking at was $5,900. That is a lot for a handbag. I feel like you could definitely get other handbags from other brands for that same price point. And unfortunately, what we're seeing is that they don't resell very well on the pre-loved market or on the resale market. So I think that's also something that you have to look at. Not that you go in thinking that you're going to sell your handbags when you buy them, but just knowing that if you were to need to sell them, that this is going to be a classic style that will resell for you pretty well, and you're not at a huge deficit if you need to sell it for whatever reason. Moving on to the next bag is the Prada Raffia tote. I think on their website they call it the Prada crochet tote. And for this tote bag, again, super popular. I think it came out during the summer, which was a perfect release. People were talking about how they could use it as a shopping bag, how they could use it as a beach bag. And to me, this was just never one of those things that jumped out at me as being something that I feel like I really would need and or use if I'm going to have a beach bag. I've talked about this with my Louis Vuitton Neverfull. Is probably not going to be my Neverfull, or in this case, the Prada Raffia tote that I would take to the beach. And when it comes to a tote bag, there are so many other tote bags. I have a video on that as well. I'll link that I would be more interested in purchasing than this crochet or raffia tote bag. So for me, I'm not above purchasing something that doesn't justify the price. As we know, if you love luxury handbags, you've left that thought a long time ago, but I do need some type of practicality. I'm like, just give me something. And I do not see how the raffia or the crochet tote really fit for me in my lifestyle. And again, for the price point, we're talking, this is a $2,000 raffia tote. $2,000. I feel like you could look at a Pochette Matisse or something like that in that $2,000 to $3,000 price range that you would get far more wear and far more everyday wear out of than this crochet tote. Moving on to one of Louis Vuitton's most popular handbags released recently, the Louis Vuitton Monogram Mini Bum Bag. I really think this is honestly what started making me think of this video originally, because the mini bum bag I have been seeing all over social media. I've been seeing it even out when I'm going shopping. There's been very little pull for me to be like, oh my gosh, I'm really contemplating this bag. Do I want this bag? I haven't really had any feelings towards it in that way, and that made me think, am I just different, or is this trend different? And I haven't put my finger on it. I think a little bit of both. I think that I am obviously changing, and I'm realizing what handbags work for me and what handbags don't work for me. And I think that this mini bum bag is a perfect example of what I previously would have gone for, and that is my multi pochette. I'm going to talk to you guys about that, as I said. But when I first started my handbag journey, or earlier on in my handbag journey, my first thought was, what handbag can I get that's going to give me the biggest bang for my buck and that I'm going to be able to wear all the time, no problem, and really be able to get a lot of wear out of? And what I would usually narrow that down to is functionality. So one thing about this mini bum bag, similar to the Fendi Peekaboo that I was talking about earlier, is this one is very functional, and you can wear it multiple different ways, even more so than the Fendi Peekaboo. So you can wear this handbag by the chain strap on the shoulder, you can wear it as an actual bum bag, and you can also wear it as a crossbody or single shoulder strap bag, which when you're talking about 4 different ways to be able to wear a bag in around the $2,000 range region, that's pretty good, especially when you don't already have a lot of handbags in your collection. But I really feel like this new it bag is going to be very temporary. We've already seen with Louis Vuitton, and other brands in their bum bags that they are not really popularized for very long. They're popular, they may stay for a little bit, and then next thing we know, they are out of trend again. And I really don't see this bum bag staying in trend for very long. I would love to hear what you guys think about that. And as I said, it was already in the Fashion File last call. In all fairness, Fashion File had it priced well above retail, but it just wasn't selling like that. Like some of the other brands, say Chanel, they released their really popular top handle bag recently, and that one I saw on Fashion File all the time, well above retail. People were wanting it, people were buying it, but this one I feel like Louis Vuitton restocks their website so often. I just looked at it and this bag was actually on the website available for sale, that there's no reason to buy it over $1,000 over retail. So you're going to already see that it's not really priced at a point where you're going to be able to resell it in another year, 2 years after you've worn it, after you've loved it, and really get that good of a resale price. And then to me, I personally think, I'm not saying we all think this way, that it would be better for me to really invest in something that I'm going to keep more long term, or if I had to sell again, that I would get a pretty reasonable resale price for, or at least not be at a huge deficit. That brings me to my final piece here, which is my Louis Vuitton Multi Pochette. So as you guys know, I thought about originally selling that. I think that video was last year. And the reason I was thinking about selling it is I just wasn't grabbing for it. I finally have decided to sell it now because yes, I just realized it was sitting there and I didn't use it. I wasn't wearing it. That's not really the style that I was wearing anymore, so I wanted to sell it. But back in the day, perfect example, everyone had to have this multi pochette and I was one of them. I saw it everywhere. I was influenced to believe that, oh my gosh, I really need this bag. Everybody has it. It looks great. I saw it styled so many different ways and I loved that functionality of it. It had the really cool strap. You could crossbody it, you could wear it over the shoulder, you could separate the pouches and use it as a pouch. So that's what really attracted and drew me to the handbag originally. But now that I'm looking at this years and years and years later, because I would say that was pretty much 3 years ago at least that I originally purchased my multi pochette, and it was just sitting. It wasn't a classic style. It wasn't something that when I was looking to grab a handbag that it was the first one I was going for. And that really started putting things into perspective for me. And I think that made the bum bag even easier for me to say no, because I saw my journey throughout the multi pochette. And towards the end there, I was just like, man, I would have really have liked to maybe invest in something a little bit less trendy, a little more classic style handbags than the multi pochette. Not to mention when I resold it in the pre-loved market, it was at a humongous deficit. This handbag is currently priced over the $2,000 mark, and I think Fashion File offered me about $1,100 for it. And when I tell you guys it was in excellent condition, I talked about this in the first video as well, it was in excellent condition. So I learned my lesson. Noticed that the Chanels that I resold, they were not exactly what I paid for them, but it was not at half of the price that I originally purchased the item for. That one really hits differently and it hurts. Let me tell you that when you spent your hard-earned money and then you realize you go to resell it when you're maybe not loving the piece as much and it's at half of what you paid for the item. That's really made me say, okay, I think the new It bag is not the latest and greatest for me. We talked about the Chanel 22 in previous videos, which was another popularized bag that I just could not seem to get on the trend with. And I think that as I'm growing and I'm evolving, those just are not attracting and pulling me in the ways that they used to be. Now, I'm not saying that if something comes out that I absolutely need to have, want to have, that I wouldn't purchase it. I probably would. And I've even seen some other styles, like I've talked to you guys about the Bottega Jody and things like that, that are popular, that I could really see as getting a lot of use out of. But for now, I'm gonna stick to my more classics. I would love to get you all's opinion on how you feel about this topic. Do you feel like the It bags are just not as good as they used to be? Do you feel like the It bags are no longer trending? Or do you feel like it's just maybe more of these minimalism, the quiet luxury, trying to trim our collections is maybe the reason that we are not purchasing them as much as we used to, or that they're sitting on the pre-loved market longer for these It bags or these really popularized bags? Thank you guys so much for watching as always. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!